Education is supposed to be the great equalizer, but sometimes the most brilliant students carry the heaviest secrets. When Jessica Rivera walked across Ellen's stage as her school's valedictorian, everyone expected to celebrate academic excellence. Nobody expected to discover the price of that success or the lie that made it possible. It was a bright Thursday morning at Warner Bros. Studios in Burbank, and the Ellen DeGeneres show was radiating its characteristic energy. Ellen appeared on stage wearing a light blue blazer that caught the studio lights perfectly, her smile wide and genuine as she addressed the enthusiastic audience of 300. "Good morning, everyone," Ellen called out, her arms spread wide as the crowd responded with thunderous applause. "Today we're celebrating something I'm incredibly passionate about, education and the students who overcome impossible odds to achieve their dreams." The audience settled into appreciative attention as Ellen moved to center stage, her expression becoming more serious, more focused on the importance of what she was about to share. "The young woman you're about to meet represents everything I believe about the power of determination," Ellen continued, pulling out a blue index card. Despite facing challenges that would stop most people, she graduated as valedictorian of Roosevelt High School in Los Angeles with a perfect 4.0 GPA. The studio erupted in admiring applause. Academic achievement always resonated with Ellen's audience, many understanding the dedication required for such success. "But that's not even the most impressive part," Ellen added. "She did all of this while working multiple jobs to support her family. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jessica Rivera." The spotlight found Jessica immediately, sitting in the fourth row. She was 18 years old with long dark hair styled specially for the show, wearing a simple but elegant navy dress. What struck everyone was her poise, a maturity that seemed beyond her years. As Jessica made her way to the stage, Ellen watched her carefully. She'd interviewed many high-achieving students over the years, and they usually radiated excitement or nervous energy. Jessica displayed neither. There was something more complex in her expression, something that looked almost like wariness. "Jessica Rivera," Ellen said warmly as she reached the stage. "Congratulations on your incredible achievement, valedictorian. That's amazing." "Thank you so much, Ellen," Jessica replied, her voice clear and articulate with a slight accent. "I still can't believe I'm actually here." "Well, believe it, because you've earned it," Ellen said firmly. "Tell everyone about your graduation. What was it like to be named valedictorian?" Jessica settled into her chair, adjusting her dress slightly. Despite her composure, Ellen noticed her hands were trembling almost imperceptibly. "It was surreal, honestly. When they called my name, I kept thinking there had been some mistake." "No mistake," Ellen smiled. "Perfect 4.0 GPA over 4 years? That's extraordinary. What's your secret?" Jessica was quiet for a moment, choosing her words carefully. "Consistency, I guess, and finding time to study wherever I could." "I understand you work to help support your family?" "Yes," Jessica nodded. "I work at a grocery store in the evenings, and I clean offices on weekends, whatever I can do to contribute." Ellen was impressed by Jessica's matter-of-fact tone. "That must make studying incredibly difficult. When do you find time to do homework?" That's when Jessica's expression shifted almost imperceptibly. Ellen, with her years of experience reading people, caught the change immediately. "I'm pretty good at managing my time," Jessica said, but there was something in her voice that suggested this was only part of the truth. "Where do you usually study?" Ellen pressed gently, sensing there was more to this story. Jessica hesitated for just a fraction of a second. "Libraries, mostly. They're quiet, and they have good lighting." "Libraries are great for studying," Ellen agreed. "Do you have a favorite library?" "The downtown branch," Jessica replied. "They stay open until 9 p.m. and they have these comfortable chairs by the windows." Ellen nodded, but something in Jessica's tone was setting off her instincts. "And after the library closes, do you go home to study?" Another hesitation, this one longer. Jessica's hands, which had been resting calmly in her lap, tightened slightly. "Sometimes," Jessica said carefully. "Depends on how much work I have." Ellen leaned forward slightly, her journalist instincts kicking in. "Jessica, can I ask you something personal?" "Of course. What's your living situation like? Do you live with your family?" Jessica's composure wavered for just a moment. Ellen caught the flash of something, fear, embarrassment, that crossed her face before she recovered. "I live with my mom," Jessica said simply. "Just you and your mom?" "Yes. My dad, he's not in the picture." Ellen sensed they were approaching something significant. "And your mom, what does she do for work?" Jessica started, then stopped. She does whatever she can find, cleaning jobs mostly. That must be tough, making ends meet on cleaning jobs. Jessica's jaw tightened almost imperceptibly. We manage. Ellen had interviewed enough people to recognize when someone was carefully managing information. Jessica, I get the feeling there's more to your story than you're sharing. Jessica looked directly at Ellen, and for the first time since the interview began, her careful composure cracked slightly. What do you mean? I mean, Ellen said gently, most students don't spend every evening at the library unless there's a reason they can't study at home. The words hung in the air between them. Jessica's breathing became slightly more rapid, and Ellen could see her making a decision about how much truth to reveal. The library has everything I need, Jessica said finally. Books, computers, quiet space. It's easier to focus there. Easier than at home?
Yes.
Why is it easier than at home, Jessica? And that's when Jessica's carefully constructed facade finally crumbled. Because, she whispered so quietly that the microphones barely picked it up, we don't have a home. The studio went completely silent. Ellen felt like the air had been sucked out of the room. What do you mean, you don't have a home? Ellen asked gently. Jessica's eyes filled with tears, but she fought to maintain control. I mean, we're homeless. My mom and we've been homeless for 3 years. We sleep in her car, or sometimes in shelters when there's space, or sometimes in 24-hour laundromats when it's cold. The audience gasped audibly. Ellen felt her heart break as she processed what Jessica had just revealed. Jessica, Ellen said softly, you've been homeless for 3 years, and you still graduated as valedictorian? Jessica nodded, tears now flowing freely. The library isn't just where I study. It's where I spend most of my time because it's warm and safe, and no one asks questions if you stay all day. Ellen was struggling to process the magnitude of what Jessica was telling her. How did you manage assignments that required computers or internet? The library has computers. I'd get there when they opened and stay until they closed. I did all my homework, all my research, everything there. And your teachers, did they know about your situation? Jessica shook her head. Only the principal, Mr. Thompson. He's the one who nominated me for this show, but I made him promise not to tell anyone else. Ellen looked toward the audience. Is he here today? Yes, Jessica said, glancing toward a man in his 50s, sitting in the 6th row. He's been incredible. He never treated me differently, never made me feel like a charity case. Ellen gestured for Mr. Thompson to join them on stage. As he made his way down the aisle, Ellen turned back to Jessica. Why didn't you want people to know? Because, Jessica said, her voice growing stronger despite her tears, I didn't want to be the homeless girl who got good grades because people felt sorry for her. I wanted to be the girl who got good grades because she earned them. Mr. Thompson reached the stage, and Ellen could see the pride and concern in his eyes as he looked at Jessica. Mr. Thompson, Ellen said, you've known about Jessica's situation? For 2 years, he replied, his voice thick with emotion. She came to me when she was struggling to complete an online assignment because the library's computers were down. That's when I learned she had no internet at home because she had no home. What did you do? I gave her access to my office after hours, told her she could use my computer whenever she needed. But Jessica never took advantage. She used it only when absolutely necessary. Ellen looked back at Jessica. 2 years of using the principal's office to do homework, and you still never told your teachers. I didn't want special treatment, Jessica said firmly. I wanted to earn my grades the same way everyone else did. Ellen was quiet for a moment, absorbing the incredible determination of this young woman. Jessica, can I ask about your mom? Does she know you're here today? Jessica's expression changed again, becoming more uncomfortable. She knows I'm here, yes. Is she proud of your graduation? She would be proud if she knew. Ellen's eyebrows raised. If she knew. Jessica took a deep breath, clearly preparing to reveal something even more difficult. My mom doesn't know I graduated. She doesn't know I was valedictorian. She doesn't even know I've been going to school. The silence in the studio was deafening. Ellen felt like she was hearing something impossible. What do you mean she doesn't know you've been going to school? For the past 3 years, I told her I was working during the day, Jessica said, her voice barely above a whisper. She thinks I have a job cleaning offices from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. She doesn't know I've been in school. Ellen stared at Jessica, trying to process this revelation. You've been lying to your mother about going to school for 3 years? Yes. Jessica, why would you do that? And that's when Jessica's composure broke completely. The tears came harder, and her voice cracked with emotion as she spoke. Because my mom dropped out of high school to work when her parents died. She never got her diploma, never got to go to college, never got to have the life she dreamed of. When we lost our apartment, when everything fell apart, she started working 3 jobs to try to keep us afloat. Ellen waited, sensing there was more. She kept saying she was sorry she couldn't give me a better life, sorry I couldn't go to school like normal kids. And I couldn't tell her I was actually going to school because she'd feel guilty about not being able to help me, or she'd try to get a 4th job to support me, or she'd sacrifice even more of herself. The weight of Jessica's sacrifice was beginning to become clear to Ellen. So you let her think you were working. I told her I found a job that paid well enough that she could drop one of her jobs. I gave her money from my actual part-time work and told her it was from the fake day job. She was so relieved that she didn't have to work as much. Ellen felt tears building in her own eyes. Jessica, you've been supporting your mother financially while secretly going to school and becoming valedictorian? I couldn't let her destroy herself trying to give me opportunities, so I found my own opportunities and let her think I was helping support us. Where does your mom think you are right now? Ellen asked. I told her I won a contest at my fake job and got invited to a show. She was so proud and excited for me. Ellen was quiet for a long moment, processing the incredible complexity of Jessica's situation. What happens after graduation? What are your plans? Jessica's face fell. I got accepted to UCLA with a partial scholarship, but I can't go. Why not? 'Cause I'd have to tell my mom the truth about school, and I'd have to stop working to support her. The scholarship covers tuition, but we'd lose the income from my jobs. Ellen felt her heart breaking all over again. So you're going to give up college to keep supporting your mother? I'm going to tell her I'm getting promoted at my fake job and make enough money that she doesn't have to work at all. Then I'll get a real full-time job and take care of her. Mr. Thompson, is Jessica's mother here today? She is, he nodded. She insisted on coming because she was so proud that Jessica won a contest. Ellen made a decision that would change everything. I think it's time for the truth to come out. Jessica's eyes widened in panic. Ellen, please don't. She'll feel so guilty. Jessica, Ellen interrupted gently, your mother raised a daughter who would sacrifice her own future to protect her feelings. That's not failure, that's extraordinary success. Ellen gestured to her production team. Could we have Carmen Rivera join us on stage? Carmen Rivera made her way to the stage slowly, clearly confused. She was a woman in her early 40s with graying hair and hands that showed the wear of hard physical labor. She wore a simple dress that was clearly her best outfit. Mrs. Rivera, Ellen said as Carmen reached the stage, thank you for joining us. You must be so proud of Jessica for winning that contest at work. Carmen beamed, so proud. My Jessica, she works so hard. I'm just sorry I couldn't give her better opportunities. Ellen looked at Jessica, who was crying silently. Mrs. Rivera, what would you say if I told you that Jessica has been giving you opportunities instead? Carmen looked confused. I don't understand. Jessica, Ellen said gently, it's time to tell your mother the truth. Jessica looked at her mother with eyes full of love and terror. Mom, I need to tell you something, and I need you to know that everything I did because I love you. Carmen's expression grew worried. Nija, what is it? Mom, for the past 3 years I haven't been working during the day. What do you mean? Jessica took the deepest breath of her life. I've been going to school. I've been going to high school, and Mom, I graduated. I graduated as valedictorian. Carmen stared at her daughter in complete shock. You've been going to school? Every day. And I've been lying about the job because I didn't want you to feel guilty about not being able to help me. Carmen's hands flew to her mouth. You graduated from high school? With a 4.0 GPA, Ellen added softly. She's been accepted to UCLA, Carmen. Your daughter is going to college. Carmen stared at Jessica for a long moment, processing everything she'd just learned. Then, without warning, she burst into tears, but they weren't tears of anger. They were tears of overwhelming pride and joy. Misha, Carmen whispered, reaching out to touch Jessica's face. You did this? You did this while living in the car, while working, while taking care of me? I'm sorry I lied, Jessica sobbed. Sorry, Carmen interrupted. You're sorry, Jessica. You are the strongest, smartest, most incredible person I have ever known. Ellen watched this reunion with tears streaming down her face. Carmen, did you know Jessica was supporting you financially while going to school? There was no day job, Carmen realized. I worked evenings and weekends, Jessica explained. I wanted you to be able to drop one of your jobs. Carmen pulled Jessica into her arms. My beautiful, brilliant daughter, you have been taking care of me while I thought I was failing you. Ellen gave them a moment, then spoke to the audience. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what determination looks like. This is what love looks like. She turned back to Jessica and Carmen. Now I have some news for both of you. Ellen reached into her jacket pocket and pulled out an envelope. Jessica, I've been in contact with UCLA. They want to increase your scholarship to a full-ride tuition, room and board, everything. Jessica's mouth fell open. Ellen, I can't accept that. I need to work. You need to go to college, Ellen interrupted. And Carmen, I've been in contact with some people who are looking for an office manager. The salary would be enough to support you both. Carmen stared at Ellen in disbelief. You're offering me a job? I'm offering you both a chance to build the life you deserve. Ellen reached into her other pocket and pulled out another envelope. And this is from me personally. This is enough money to get you into an apartment, to get settled, to start fresh. Jessica and Carmen were both crying now, overwhelmed by the sudden transformation of their circumstances. Ellen, Jessica whispered, why are you doing this? Because 3 years ago, a young woman made a choice to sacrifice her own recognition to protect her mother's feelings. Today I'm choosing to acknowledge that sacrifice and make sure it leads to the future you both deserve. Ellen stood up and addressed the audience directly. Jessica Rivera graduated as valedictorian. While homeless, she supported her mother financially while attending school. She earned a place at UCLA through her own merit, and she did it all in secret because she loves her mother more than she loves recognition. The audience rose to their feet in thunderous applause, many people openly crying as they witnessed this family's story. Ellen turned back to Jessica and Carmen. No more secrets, no more sacrificing your dreams for each other. From now on, you build those dreams together. Jessica looked at her mother, then at Ellen. Mom, are you proud of me? Misha, Carmen said, touching her daughter's face, I have been proud of you every single day of your life. But today, I understand why. You didn't just get good grades, you became a woman of character, of strength, of love. The episode ended with Jessica and Carmen holding each other, both crying and laughing at the same time, while Ellen stood nearby knowing she had just witnessed one of the most profound demonstrations of love and sacrifice she'd ever encountered. 3 months later, Jessica started her freshman year at UCLA. Carmen began her new job as an office manager and moved into a 2-bedroom apartment, the first stable home she and Jessica had shared in 4 years. Jessica's story became a symbol of the hidden struggles many students face, inspiring new programs to identify and support homeless students. Carmen became an advocate for working mothers, sharing her story to help others understand that sometimes love means accepting help as much as it means giving it. And Ellen kept in touch with both of them, watching as a mother and daughter who had spent years protecting each other learned to dream together instead. Because sometimes the greatest education doesn't happen in a classroom. Sometimes it happens when someone loves you enough to carry your burdens in secret, and someone else loves you enough to make sure those burdens don't have to be carried alone.